Welcome to Automation Hunter, the podcast for entrepreneurs and businesses ready to scale smarter. In this series, Apps, Hacks, and Bounties, your host, Will Christensen, dives into game-changing tools and strategies alongside special guests, sharing insights to boost productivity and solve real business challenges. Ready to innovate? Let's dive in.
Welcome everyone to this episode of Automation Hunter. I'm your host, Will Christensen, and I am super excited for Matt Snyder to join us today. Welcome, Matt.
Bill, good to be chatting with you again. It's been a little while. I've been looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, amen. Me as well. I saw you on the calendar. I was like, oh, sweet. I get to hang out with Matt today. So Matt, this is all about apps, hacks, and bounties. So any apps you've come across over the last year, business-wise, or even that you've come across in the last 10 years that you were like, oh my gosh, everybody should be looking at this app.
Ooh, man, there's a few that come to mind that hard to say the top one, but I'll say from agency ownership. This is one that we've recently kind of come across, and we're still fully trying to bake this in, but so far I've been really pleased with the results and I think of the potential it has for us. The app is called Moxie.
Moxie. Very
Moxie.
cool. I'm actually familiar with Moxie.
You're familiar? Okay. One of the things we have been challenged with is like trying to have a centralized place where our clients can come and be able to see progress of their projects or reporting past reports, and kind of a centralized home for everything within their account. At the same time, a place where we had Monday as a project manager, and we had we're using like Looker Studio for some reporting, but it was called like kind of very fragmented. So what was cool with Moxie is it gave us this place where we could have a place where our team could find everything in terms of resources. If the brand guidelines, the templates, whatever, it's all there for them. It also allowed us to, as a project management, be able to have assigned task. The team goes in, they record their timesheet in terms of how much time are they spending on this particular project for this brand. So we then get insights into kind of how much time is the team spending on brands A, B, and C, which task within each of those brands is causing the most workload. So
how long have you been using it?
We're about 2 months into it. So I think we're still kind of, just finalizing the
you're still on the honeymoon stage there.
Still
how's adoption?
Good so far on our team, getting there with the clients. I think the clients are still figuring it out, especially more on terms of applying a new project or request into it.
I found that the team actually is harder than the clients. The clients come around because it's your tried and true process, right? Like once this becomes tried and true, and because clients turn over time, that's pretty natural. Yep. So getting them to adopt a new system is just a matter of time, because the new guy comes on, he doesn't know anything different, and he's ready to do whatever you guys tell him to do.
Right.
And so I found as long as the system is semi-functional and somewhat user-friendly, it doesn't have to be perfectly user-friendly. I found that the team, however, those guys are, their turnover hopefully is a lot less, right? They're not turning over nearly as often as your clients are. And in that, they can be quite difficult to convince to try something. So that's exciting to me to hear that they're adopting.
Yeah, they've been pleased with the fact that we can, going back to kind of Looker Studio, we can integrate that directly into it. So they have their landing page, all the reports right there. So far, yeah, we've been pleasantly surprised with it. And again, go back the costs on this, the platform for Moxie is, it's like $50 a month or something like that. And
yeah, it's not exorbitant.
All of our brands. So, I've shared this with a few other agencies out there, and I think a few of us are trying it out, but so far I've been pleasantly surprised and positive results so far from everybody.
I'm going to reach back out to the founder of Moxie. This is a hack I'll share. I have a call recorder called Fathom. It's totally free. I pay $12 a month for it though, because I want the pro version that it scrapes out tasks. So when I say something like, I'm going to reach out to the founder of Moxie, and I'm going to ask him to jump on a quick 30-minute demo episode for Automation Hunter. And I'll invite you back onto the show when he's given the demo, so that you can meet him and we can talk a little bit more about it, because I've met the founder of Moxie. He's a freaking cool dude, and that's a good opportunity. And so the cool part of it is,
absolutely,
now that I've said that, I will do something. The app that's on in our call right now, recording that, is taking note of that to do. As soon as the call ends, it's about 30 to 40 seconds after the call ends, it uses AI to look through the transcript, finds any time I said something like I will do, and then sends that to a Zapier trigger, which sends that to ClickUp. And my assistant sorts through those, watches just that 3 minutes of the call where I said that, and then actions on it. And so like, it's like I have an assistant who's sitting on every single one of my calls. It has gotten me in trouble. I will warn you, it's not perfect. We have had to implement. So like for some sales calls, we have to go through it as well with, ChatGPT again, kind of thing, just to make sure it doesn't miss anything, but it's getting better over time. So it's been pretty cool.
No, I would love to have a conversation with the CEO founder there, share a little bit about how we've been using it, but at the same time, right, what are some ways that we can better use it? That's exciting I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. We'll definitely do it. Maybe the beginning of next year at this point. Schedule's getting pretty tight, but we'll get it on the calendar. Hacks. Any hacks you'd want to share?
That's a great question. I'm trying to, you were just chatting before this, and you actually shared one that I've used. It's actually a really good one.
Then toss it out. Tell me how your experience maybe is a little different than mine. In using that conference hack. So
we were talking through like with going to conferences, like and give my age here, like I was always in the business world, always had my business cards with me. So going to the trade shows and you hand your card to somebody, and afterwards it's half the time I'm trying to remember like who was it. I'd always like write little notes on the back of the card of this conversation with so and so, what's the opportunity, and follow up was always hit or miss. So post COVID, I went to the route of like digital business cards, which seemed really great. So I actually use the it's a free app called FunContact, right? And so right. Sorry, there we go. Right,
okay, yeah, I got you. I got you. Yeah, yep, free, and so it puts up a QR code, and it's called FunContact.
FunContact.
And it's free? You just said that. I was like, my first question. Wait, is it free? No, he just said that it's free.
It's free. And so you can create different profiles for like, if like in this case for our agency, I had one. I have another business I talked about. We have a fragrance store, so I have one like for parfum and so forth. So you can kind of scroll through and like just like, okay, I'm going to share this contact with this person, and this one has my cell phone, this one has my Google number, all those. So which is great because what it does then is that it gives a QR code. The person can then scan it, and it creates a new contact in their phone. And I get that, but then it's the okay, now they got my contact information, and I need to get theirs. I need to get some type of like personal engagement here, so we actually have like some true follow up. So I went into the habit of okay, kind of walk them through. Okay, it's going to create a contact for you. Great. Send me a quick text message just so I can get your information. They send me a quick text. I'm like, great. How about you mind if we just take a quick selfie together? I want to make sure that you and I can remember, this moment, and we can schedule a time when I text you back. You can remember, oh yeah, this is Matt, or I can say that's John. So we'll do that. Take a quick selfie of it, and then that just gives me a nice reminder of a visual aid of who was it that I talked to. And I'm actually going to take your idea. I'm going to have them kind of like for a conference, like hold up the badge name, right, put all that together. I love the features, the benefits of having that, not have to worry about carrying a business card or that person losing it or I losing it or whatever. Yeah. So I like the idea of the virtual, but the problem I kept running to the virtual is just like the actual like follow-ups or getting lost in somebody's cell phone, but not actually taking action. So hilariously,
I don't know if you just saw that. I have a QR code that I can bring up on my watch, and this is a free watch app that I found. I'll have to go through go find the name of it so that I can tell everybody about it. It's called Business Card App. This is on us in the Samsung or the Android Wear marketplace. Mm-hmm. And you can embed a contact in there, and so I can have them scan it and get there. But I too have found that same thing. The follow up is often on me. Right. If I'm trying to get someone's contact information, I want that contact information so that I can follow up. Right. What I then figured out doing, and I'm going to have to go get another QR code to put on there. You can actually embed a text message into a QR code so that when someone scans it, it takes them straight to their cell phone, and pre-fills a text with your number. So you can say, hey, we met at the Prosper Show 2025. I spoke on X, Y, and Z, would love to connect with you sometime soon. And you stand right there with them. They scan it, it pops up, and you help them finish the message. You can say, just send that to me. And I'll note real quick that it's you, and we'll follow up. And that way you have a cell phone number, right? Like you have something.
Yeah.
You can take.
So I love the idea for, you mentioned like speaking at a conference, whatever. And there's always you get done speaking, and afterwards a crowd of people come up, and probably there's another half of the people there who would like to talk with you, but don't want to stay in line. Throw that QR code up, scan this.
Yep.
Here's my number. Yep. Send me a message with your question. My team will get back with you within 24 hours, whatever, right?
So what I do is everybody wants the slides. And so on every single slide at the bottom, I put a QR code that says, download the slides here. and they just drop, name, email, and then the email, I automatically send them via email a copy of the slides. And then there's all sorts of other, automations you can put in play for there
Follow-ups
as well.
Yeah.
Love it. All right, final question here. Bounties.
Mm-hmm.
What is the biggest challenge or bottleneck you're facing right now, Matt? You've got an agency you're running, you've got an e-commerce brand you're running. I'm sure you're on the Prosper Show board. You got one or two things going on. What's going on right now that's got you in a bottleneck?
So I'll share this as a growing pain problem, and I'll be the first to say that growing pains are always better than shrinking pain. So I don't mind the pain, but it is something we're working through, and that is being in a growth stage for our agency. And we've been very fortunate that as every kind of next client we bring on has been a big step in terms of size of brand and size of opportunity, which is fantastic. But at the same time, you're trying to then level up your team at the same time and do it in a way that one doesn't just push you over in terms of, you've got profitability goals and expense targets you're trying to hit, of not just push you way over the top of those, but at the same time putting you in a position to where you're not completely drowning in your team's efforts as well too. And so trying to find that balance of growth management plus bring on new accounts in a rate that's not going to be sustainable. I saw that firsthand back when I was on the brand side and dealing with agencies of.
How big's the team now, Matt?
10.
Yep. That's up by 300% since the last time I talked to you.
It is.
And that was not that long ago. We talked over the summer, and chatted about that. I just want to check in. We're at time, but I'm good to go over a little bit. Are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So growing 300% in 3 or 4 months is exciting. Also terrifying, I have found.
It is terrifying.
Do you have a COO yet?
No. I would say we have a hybrid of CEO, COO, and a few of us kind of taking pieces of a COO. But I think that's part of the challenge we're at is and I've met some really incredible people who could bring a lot of value to the agency and are interested in being a part of the team. But it's how do you bring them on at a point where the business
can't afford them,
can't sustain them,
yes.
But how do we make it work for them and work for us?
Holy crap, Matt, I have been exactly where you are. The hack I want to share with you is actually one of my favorites. I want to introduce to you a concept that I came across. You remember Entrepreneur's Apprentice. I brought on an apprentice 2.5 years ago to help me build Entrepreneur's Apprentice. I was like, I got to drink my own Kool-Aid. If I'm going to build a matchmaking company that makes amazing matches, I'm going to figure that out. I ran into the same problem as you. My apprentice got to a place where I was starting to ask her questions that were well above my pay grade and well above hers. And she has the aptitude, but none of the 5 to 10 years of experience to say, we should all use Slack instead of WhatsApp for our team communications. Or just different things like that. That experience can't be replaced.
Right.
And I was digging into that and looking at it and I was like, wait a second, what I need is a fractional COO. And so I brought on a fractional COO. Her name's Karina Mickley. And Karina has been an amazing help. She's helped lots of agencies before. And so the hack here is the concept of a fractional COO who can mentor anyone in the organization and or fill that role fractionally. So for a fraction of the cost of what you would pay for, 150 to 200K a year is what you would pay for a full-time someone like that. And a 10-person agency, unless you got a lot bigger clients than I had, is not going to be able to afford that sort of individual. It's just not how it is. And so for me, she's been the answer because she meets weekly with Eliza and gets in, picks apart, looks at, and I have seen marked improvement across the board in terms of our systems since that happened. Eliza was doing a great job of keeping track of everything, and we were kind of hair on fire. We've grown by 800% since March for for Entrepreneur's Apprentice. And so same exact situation. Like if you're growing by 100% every 2 to 3 months, all of a sudden you have to really start looking at, okay, can we take on not just this person, but this process, and do it in a way that's actually going to scale. So that would be my recommendation, would be to consider engaging for, and you want to set a budget for somewhere between 2 and 10K a month, for someone like that, depending on how much engagement you need from them. So the more time you need from them, the more it's going to cost, but they can step into that role fractionally and actually even have people report to them. That's the second time I brought in a fractional COO inside an agency, and it was amazing how much structure they were able to bring, and how much like, oh, if we just did it that way, we don't even need to hire a new person. Like it was blatantly obvious that we had not done that before. So that's what I toss out to you.
I like that. And I've kind of thought through something similar. So like your example, you're trying to almost kind of like level up Eliza. Have you had a different experience where it's been bringing on fractional and at some point transitioning?
Yep.
Time?
Yeah. So at Data Automation, we did that. So at Data Automation, we brought on a fractional COO, and he helped us implement EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System, as well as some of his own homegrown stuff. His name's Dave Newell, and he actually has his own framework that he's built now called the 5 Facets of Business. And just a brilliant dude. He's done some amazing things. And so we brought him on. And Karina is that other fractional I told you about. She's also done that fractional, like took on the role, and then given up that position to a full-time person when it grew to that point. And the whole point of a fractional COO is that they recognize that I'm here as long as it makes sense. And sometimes it actually transitions. And Karina actually took a full-time position with a client for a while. And stepped away from the fractional scene. So like it is very possible and very effective to engage that way as you're growing, because you get all the expertise without $10,000 a month in cost that you're having to bring on, because you don't need them for that much time.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm exploring this. As I shared, I've met a few great people, trying to think through like how to make this work. So, I'll give you an
if you're open to an intro, I'd love to introduce you to Karina. I know she's got some bandwidth right now, and
absolutely
would be interested in helping. And I'd love for the two of you to meet in general. So
absolutely appreciate it.
Awesome. So fractional COOs would be my hack there. I've actually talked to another agency who he was like, if you own an agency and you have more than 3 people in it, you should have a fractional COO. And I was like, more than 3 people? And he was like, you don't understand, Will. The moment you get to 3, 4, 5 people, you start to introduce inefficiency. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, all of a sudden you have 2 people working on your design, or 2 people working on your ads, or 2 people, like all of a sudden you begin to have duplicative roles that people will kind of Venn diagram over the top of each other. And as those departments form, if you have someone to guide you through the formation of them, all of a sudden you don't have to go through the whole restructuring crap that happens when you're like, oh, well, we just built it that way because that's what everybody thought was the best idea, but nobody ever done it before. And so they help you skip all the rework. And I was like, man, I mean, you could find somebody for an hour a week, pretty inexpensively, who has tons of experience, and you could avoid all of that because you don't need any execution. You just need strategy. So anyway, really cool process.
Okay. Well, all right. How this works out.
Well, that wraps us on our episode. Matt, what's the best way to get in touch with you if our listeners want to get in touch?
Sure, absolutely. Obviously, you can always find me on LinkedIn. Fairly easy to find there, but you can also always just shoot me an email. It's Matt@BrandsExcel. So BRANDSEXCEL, like the Microsoft Excel. So
beautiful.
Easy to catch me there.
Well, that's it for this episode of Automation Hunter. Thanks for sticking around, Matt.
Thanks, Will.